Hey everyone, you're listening to InfoQuench with Jeff,
and Amy,
a podcast with tips to make your life easier.
covering pop culture, parenting, travel, minimalism, and more.
Hey everybody, and welcome to InfoQuench. I'm your host, Jeff.
And I'm Amy.
And we have another amazing podcast for you today. It's going to be incredible.
It is.
What is it about? I forget.
It's going to be about the origin of common sayings.
There are a lot of common sayings that people use, especially, I find, in the Maritimes. Well, I guess not especially in the Maritimes, but the Maritimes have their own unique blend of idioms, just like everywhere else, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. A little colloquialism.
We'll be like touching upon those, but we can do some more broader idioms as well, right?
Yes. But before we get into that, I want to do a correction of our Lyme disease.
You
podcast.
don't make mistakes, honey.
I know.
You made a mistake? What mistake did you make?
I make lots of mistakes. Well, I always try to research and have all my information handy, but that you had asked me a quick question about the origin of the naming of Lyme.
Right,
and
I did.
I didn't have the note in front of me, and I had it in my memory that the person who discovered Lyme was associated with the naming of it. And I mentioned his name is Willy Bergdorfer, and it's actually the bacteria or one of the bacterium that causes Lyme, Borrelia burgdorferi.
What?
Oh my God, I massacred
Try that again. Borgdorfia?
So his name is Bergdorfer, and the bacterium is Borrelia burgdorferi. So... Anyway,
no wonder that wasn't at the tip of your tongue there.
So
the last podcast.
The Lyme disease isn't named after a person. It's actually named after where Lyme was first discovered, which was in Old Lyme, Connecticut.
In Connecticut,
yeah.
Okay.
And then the bacterium was.
How
named
long
after
ago
a
was
person.
that? Or do you know? There's another question for you that we'll have to do.
Yeah, I think it was
1800s?
No, late. I think it was 1975.
1975.
I'm pulling that one right out of my butt. So
right,
if it's wrong,
okay.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to take ownership of it. You're basically just going to have to Google it.
Well, I was just curious if you knew. You know, that's okay that you don't. You don't have to know everything. You know, you don't have to know everything.
What was fascinating is that's good because I know nearly nothing. After we put out the Lyme disease episode, shortly after that was released, there was an article by CTV News.
Yeah, that I sent
News.
you at work. And what was it again? It was that it may have been possible that the U.S. government is responsible for Lyme disease. I know that there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, and there's no real proof to it, right? But, it's a possibility. Is that what it was? I just ruined it, I know, but...
No, that's it. Just that it was some military experiment gone horribly wrong. There's even a book that's being released or has recently been released about it, this whole conspiracy theory.
But can you imagine?
Which may have truth to it. I think so the government they're asking the government to
it is a
get
freaky
the records
thing.
from the military to say, are you...
So they wanted to use it as like a weapon of war.
Yeah, a bioweapon. So they would release these
crazy.
ticks infested with a disease that would kill U.S. enemies. And then I guess the theory is, according to the article, is that one of the ticks escaped or more than one. And that's sort of where Lyme disease
ticks.
began. Yeah. So anyways, that's scary
can you
stuff.
imagine if that is the truth, if there is some validity to that concept? Wow. How many people have been sick from Lyme disease? And if it's pinned on the U.S. government because they wanted to use it as a biological weapon, is that what it is?
Bioweapon, yeah. Biological weapon.
That's nuts.
It's such a strange thing, right? Lyme disease is a strange thing, the way it's spread. And there's one strain that is, I think it's more common down in the States than it is up here, that actually, if you contract it, it makes you allergic to red meat.
What?
Yeah,
really?
I know. So it's a very odd, disease and how it presents in so many different ways. So, So if you're interested in conspiracy theories and want to Google that, CTV did an article recently. There's probably lots more information.
I didn't see anything in the U.S. media, which is interesting. Only the Canadian.
Go figure.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Although the U.S. media were responsible for that story that we were talking about, where the cows were sucked dry of their blood by ticks. Which
They've been too busy
even
this
scarier.
Week covering racist tweets from Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So we're going to take off our tinfoil hats now and get into what our original topic was, is the origin of common sayings.
Yes.
So I often wonder when I say something, I'll just say sayings because I've heard them. I've heard other people say them and grew up hearing them. But I wonder where they come from. And so we went ahead and looked up some of them. And I guess it goes without saying in some scenarios, there's multiple theories as to where sayings originated because they've just been around for so long.
Yeah.
But the first one I'm going to talk about is close but no cigar.
Ah, yes, close but no cigar.
I say this one a lot.
Now, where did that one originate?
So that comes from old carnivals or fairgrounds where they would often give out cigars as prizes. So when people would when they would come close to winning but wouldn't actually win,
the barker would say,
yeah, close but
close.
no cigar.
The carnies. The carnies are responsible for that one.
I love carnies.
Close but no cigar.
They got so much
You just hear them.
character.
Yeah, I know.
I kind of picture the person, when you hit the rubber mallet on and you have to make the thing go up and hit the bell.
Yeah, the strength
Yeah.
strength test.
Strongman test.
Yeah. No, that's really interesting because I think everybody uses that idiom, close but no cigar. When you're very close to achieving your goal. Whoops. Nope.
It makes you wonder why some things stick and some things don't.
I know.
In terms of sayings.
I know.
Another one is break the ice.
Yeah, I know. I think I know the origins of this one.
Oh, okay.
I would guess.
Okay,
I would have to
put out that
fathom a guess.
Fathom away.
Well, I would say that, I would say that it has to do with something to do with icebreakers, like the ship, and how they would clear a path, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. So again, there's
really,
yeah.
Wow.
So before the days of trains and cars, port cities such as our own, St. John, New Brunswick,
yes,
thrived on trade, but they suffered in the winter because of frozen rivers. Well, we don't have to worry about that because we're on the
so
Bay
no
of Fun
ships
Day,
could get in.
So it would prevent commercial ships from coming in and doing business. So small ships known as icebreakers would rescue icebound ships, break the ice, and create a path for them to come in and do their business. So now it's common before any kind of business arrangement or simply as a way to get acquainted, we say break the ice. And we do,
That's
I know
really
a lot of times
interesting.
at corporate retreats or even business meetings or conferences, they'll do breakout sessions where they'll begin with an icebreaker to just, get people loosened up and get people acquainted before they continue on with business.
And that's another one I think that is widely used. I mean, everybody just says break the ice, right? I think, for the most part. One of the ones that I looked up was beat around the bush. I never really understood the origins of that one.
Does that have something to do with birds in a bush?
No, well, I mean, maybe a little bit, because what it really means is back in the day when we were hunter-gatherers, and we were hunting, then whatever we were hunting would go into the woods or whatever, and then the hunters would take a stick and beat down all the grass and everything around it so that they could find it.
Oh.
So that's how beat around the bush came about, which is interesting because I don't know. I would have had no idea where that one came from.
And then something comes out and they have to run back and pick up their gun quickly.
Yeah, or throw the stick at it or something. I don't know.
There's a lot of bush because there's a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Yeah,
a lot of bush sayings.
I would imagine it would be one person who would beat down all of the grass and then watch the rabbit run out because it being scared or whatever, and then the other one would shoot it or something.
Hopefully they wouldn't be really close to whatever was running out, because then I could see this all going horribly wrong.
I could see it going wrong too. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
This one I found really fascinating. Paint the town red.
Yes, paint the town red. And Ween, one of my favorite bands, have a saying called "Paint the town brown" because that's just the way they are. It's a lively night tonight in St. John.
I know. I don't know if you can picking up the sirens on the podcast.
How could you not hear that?
They're going.
Yeah, there they go. Anyway.
Yeah, urban living.
It's live, people. We record this live.
Paint the town red. Well, what I found fascinating about this is the controversy around the origin of it. So I found on the History Channel a certain description of where this came from. And I mean, the History Channel, you figure that's a pretty legitimate source, right?
I don't know about that anymore, considering the shows that they have on there. But anyways, go ahead.
The shows we watch.
Yeah, we watch them, but There's nothing historical about it at all. A lot of the stuff on that channel.
Yeah, Jeff's referring to some of the...
Same with the Learning Channel. You don't really learn much from like watching a show called My 600-Pound Life or something, you know.
Well, everybody's on the reality show bandwagon, and thank God for that, because I love
crazy.
reality TV. So the History Channel describes the origin of the Paint the Town Red like this, and there's a bit of a story, so bear with me.
Go for it. Yeah, I love stories.
They feel it most likely owes its origin to one legendary night of drunkenness. In 1837, the Marquis of Waterford, who was known as a lush and a mischief maker, led a group of friends on a night of drinking through an English town. And the English town was called Melton Mowbray. And the bender culminated in vandalism after Waterford and his fellow revelers knocked over flower pots, pulled knockers off of doors, and broke some windows. So it finally ended, to top it all off, with the mob literally painting things red. They painted a toll gate, the doors of several homes, and a swan statue with red paint. And so that became a shorthand for a wild night out, is to paint the town red. Now, what's interesting, though, is that when I tried to check at least a few spots for each of these sayings to get some consistency and some consensus on what the meaning would be. And some people say that that town of Melton Mowbray actually just made up that story as part of their tourism ploy.
That's the best. I love that. That's
it's so elaborate.
That's a Banksy-ish move, you know?
Yeah. I feel like we need to find a saying and then make up a story about our city, St. John, around how we are actually the origin of that saying.
Like maybe there was an actual saint called Awesome. Saint Awesome.
Oh, there you go.
and what kind of saint was he, though? He was an awesome saint.
There you go.
I don't know.
So another theory around Paint the Town Red was just thinking that it was born out of the brothels of the American West, and so people would hit the red light district.
That's probably probable. I like this first story, even if it's not true.
Probable, eh?
Well, yeah, I know, but I like the first story.
Well, and then there's a third is just that firecrackers or fireworks on Independence Day create a red sky and paint the town red.
See, I love this idea about idioms, having all these possibilities, and you just pick whichever one you really like.
Yeah, and that one's so specific. I don't know. I feel like one of those is true.
It's got to be the first one. It's got to be. It's got to be a bunch of delinquents who were vandals, and just caused havoc one night, and then it became legendary.
It's like balderdash when you're trying to figure out, which one is the true definition of a word.
I know.
Another one where there is a bit of a debate is bite the bullet.
Yes, I think I know this one too. I think I have an idea.
Okay, well, what's your idea?
Well, I would think that it has something to do with pain. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to bite a bullet, it's not like a magic trick or anything. It's probably because you're in so much pain, you got to, like, bite the bullet to, like, excruciating, to get through the pain.
So that is one of the theories, is that surgeons, when they basically were during battle, they would, and they didn't have, it was an emergency situation and they didn't have time for anesthesia, they would basically get someone to bite down on a bullet. But then other people debate, like, didn't they use like a leather strap? That would be way better than a metal, bullet. But apparently there's also a movie called Bite the Bullet, and biting the bullet in the movie referred to putting a shell casing over an aching tooth so that you didn't have to bite into the nerve. It would sort of protect the tooth. So you'd bite the bullet.
Nah, I like the first one the most.
I agree. I like it better.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So that one's true because that's the one we like.
Yeah, that's totally true because that's the one we chose. That's right.
Here's an easy one, hands down. Like, when you're like, oh, he won that hands down.
Yeah, I don't know what that one would be.
I don't mean easy as in that you should know the answer, but easy as in it's a lot easier for me to explain than the other.
Oh,
the last two I just
Here's
did.
An easy one. If you don't know it, you're stupid.
It comes from horse racing. So when you're way ahead of everybody else, you can relax your grip on the reins and you can let your hands down. And then they say if you're winning with your hands down, then you've won easily.
Oh, that makes sense. That's interesting. I had not thought of that. Hands down. Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that one.
You looked up a few, didn't you?
I looked up two.
Oh, okay.
That one, and the other one was okay. So the other one that I looked up was, and my mother says this, and I've always really liked this saying. Actually, it's like if it's if there's a real snowstorm outside, she'll say something like, "Oh, it's snowing to beat the band," and I'm like, "Where did that come from?" And it's basically, it's basically a saying that's sort of out to outdo anything else. So it's like I think it started with a different saying, and then it went to music. So it's anything that is much more, it outdoes something else, basically.
Okay.
Is what it means. Like,
like if you're outdoing the band on stage.
Like it's snowing so hard. It's snowing. I always thought that it meant this. I always thought, oh, okay, it's storming so bad that it's going to snow so much that the band can't get to the show. You know what I mean? So the band can't get to do the performance.
That's so tragic.
So it's beating the band, But anyways, it's supposed to be just something that outdoes anything else.
Okay, so that's a saying that's used in not just snowstorms, but in other scenarios as well.
Yeah, in other scenarios too. Yeah.
Okay. No, I like that. Have you ever heard the saying? You just made me think of this one: big snow, little snow, big snow.
No, I've never ever even heard that ever in my life. What does that even mean?
Are you serious? Really?
No, I'm serious. I've never heard.
Okay, maybe it's a country thing. I grew up in the country, and this is something that So if the flakes are big, then it means you're only going to get a little bit of accumulation. So big snowflakes mean a little bit of snow is coming.
Oh.
But if the snowflakes are little, then you're going to get a lot of snow. It's like if you're in a blizzard, you have those smaller.
Shouldn't it be
flakes.
big flakes, not big snow? Like, shouldn't it be big flakes, little snow?
Well, I think because I don't know. Country folk just like to keep it
okay. All
straightforward.
Right. I see. Okay. All right.
The repetition of big snow, little snow, big snow. It's easier to say.
It is. It's like a little tongue twister.
So when you see those little flakes, a blizzard's a coming.
A blizzard's a coming.
That's the theory according to that saying. Kind of like the old red sky at night.
Oh, yeah.
Sailor's delight. Red sky at morning. Sailors take warning.
And that's.
The origin of that, I guess, is from sailors.
Nautical. There's so many idioms based on nautical terms and stories and stuff. It's a whole other podcast.
So this started out, if you remember, I said there was one saying I was really curious about: dressed to the nines.
Yes, I have no idea what that means.
That one, there is not a good consensus on it. Some people say it could be just a literary reference that was made as early as the 17th century.
Could it be sort of like a fashion show and people are putting up their placards and saying, and 10 is the best?
Wouldn't you be dressed to the tens?
Yeah, but sometimes you just don't want to be perfect. Sometimes you just want to, be a little sloppy.
But when we say dress to the nines, we mean you're ready. Like that's
tuxedo and top hat and.
So another suggestion was that the very best suits used a full 9 yards of fabric.
Yeah, that's boring though. Anything better?
No, I could make something up on the spot. We should make
something up. Yeah, dress to the nines. I don't know. We'll get back to you on our version of that. I don't like the 9 yards of fabric thing. I don't buy it. I don't think it's true. No.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
Don't what?
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
A gift horse?
Yeah.
I've never heard that one before.
Really? Because I say this constantly.
I've never heard you say it.
You're obviously not listening.
No, I guess not. Either that or you're not saying it.
It's like when you get a gift, you shouldn't question it, right? That's when I use it. Like if something good comes your way, don't question why. Just be happy you got it.
Never look a gift horse in the mouth?
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, okay, so what it means is that it has a very literal sense. Is horses' gums recede with age, as all our gums do.
Yes.
Which leads to longer teeth. And so a common way to inspect a horse's worth was to check their mouth. And check their gums.
I see.
So if you were to receive a horse as a gift and you immediately started to check its mouth to inspect the value of it, right, to determine how old it was, it was considered offensive, right? It's kind of like looking for the price tag, I guess.
Yes.
To whoever gave you the gift. So they say don't look a gift horse in the mouth. And it's the same as if you get I actually just used this saying this week. Someone got a
not
gift
to
and
me.
I said, don't question it. Just be happy you get the gift.
Well, yeah, but you didn't say never look a gift horse in the mouth, though.
I did. I used the actual saying.
Oh, I didn't hear that at all.
Well,
I've never heard it before, ever, seriously. But you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that skit on I Think You Should Leave. Do you remember that skit where the guy gets the gift and he's like, oh, was it like, oh, give me the receipt? Can I have the receipt or something?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's
if
so
you have
funny.
not watched this show on Netflix,
Yeah, check it out.
yeah,
If you like dark humor and like skit comedy kind of stuff.
yeah,
that's
you
what
might
that
watch
is
it
all
and
about.
hate it, and then you'll hate us for even recommending it, and
Yeah.
then never listen to InfoQuench again. But we're willing to take that risk because you also might love it.
We love it. We
and
love
you
it.
can just turn it off. If
I mean,
you don't like
honestly,
it.
some of the best like comedy is from skit shows. Like Mr. Show is another show that you should check out if you haven't already. It's great. Anyway, it's all over YouTube as well.
Okay. Let the cat out of the bag.
Let
You
the
got to
cat-
tell me you've heard this one before.
No, does it have to do something with pirates?
Oh, come on. But you've heard of the saying, don't let the cat out of the bag.
Oh, I've heard. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I know the literal meaning of it. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
don't give away the secret.
Yes,
But like,
okay.
where did that come from though?
Okay.
Why is it a cat and why is it a bag?
So again, two different theories on this one.
So
one
we get
is,
to pick one.
One of it was, yes. Pick whatever one you like, and then you can use it as your description around the water cooler when you're explaining the origin of common sayings to your coworkers.
Yeah. Well, all you have to do is just tell them to listen to this InfoQuench podcast.
That's right. So some say it has its roots in the 18th century and it had to do with street fraud, where suckling pigs were often sold in bags, and that was what people wanted to buy. But a popular scheme was to replace the pig with a cat and then sell it to
Interesting.
an unwitting
See,
victim.
if I was to make one up, I would think that this had to do with old seafaring ships and stuff when they were about to go out on a quest or journey on the ship. They needed to bring a cat on board because it was very common to bring cats on board to take care of the mice and the rats and stuff.
Whoa, really?
Yes.
But wouldn't you want to let the cat out of the bag?
Yes, when you got on the ship, probably wouldn't have been too easy. They didn't have cat carriers back then. They put them in a bag, bring it onto the ship, and then let the cat out of the bag. Huh?
I like that.
I'm just making it up here, but
Really?
yeah, but it makes sense to me.
It's interesting you make it up because the other suggested theory, I guess, that I came across had to do with ships,
Oh,
but not in that sense. So the origin, this particular origin story claims that it refers to the cat o' nine tails. So the whip, right?
okay.
You know, cat o' nine tails whip.
No, I don't. I'm not familiar with that, to be honest.
Really?
No.
Oh,
A cat of 9 tails. I know that a cat has 9 lives. Is that what you're talking about?
No. There's a whip that has.
What kind of whip? That kind of whip?
Do we even know each other?
I don't know what you're talking about. Who are you?
A whip. It's a whip that has like all these. It has like frayed ends. And
I know what a
it's
whip
called-
is. Okay. I
And
know what
anyway, it's called the cat o' nine tails.
I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Why?
there.
Why is
okay.
it called
That's
a cat?
if our listeners didn't know that either, I don't know
Of
why
course
the
they
whip.
knew it. I just didn't.
I don't know why the whip is called that.
Oh, well, okay. Then fine.
But I do know
We're
why
still
the
nowhere.
cat o' nine tails. And I'm not even going to fathom a guess because then I'll have to correct myself left and right in future episodes.
All right.
The cat o' nine tails whip, in how it plays out in this story,
Mm-hmm.
is that it was used by the Royal Navy as an instrument of punishment aboard ships. So they would basically say that it had to be kept in a sack because it was made of leather and they had to keep it from drying out in the salty sea air.
Right.
And they would say, kind of everybody, don't act up,
Or
be
you'll-
good, or they're going to have to let the cat out of the bag, and the cat o' nine tails would come out as the whip, and people would be whipped as punishment.
See, I thought the cat was like a literal cat, not a whip. But, I think I'm right, even though I just made it up.
I think I'm right. What about a white elephant?
What about, I wanted to ask you one quickly. What
Okay.
about the elephant in the room? What about that saying? Where did that come from? I know we all know
okay.
what it means, but where did it come from?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. That's why.
You can't just put stuff
Well,
out
no,
there and not
this
have
is
the answer.
homework for our listeners. So someone needs to find out where the the idiom, the elephant in the room, and then get back to us on social media.
I wonder if it. Okay. Yes. Let us know.
Let us know. We'll give you some homework.
I wonder if it's related to the white elephant.
Oh, maybe.
Which I was going to bring up.
What are they saying about the white elephant?
Wait, do you know what a white elephant is?
It's rare.
It is rare, absolutely. It's actually was once considered highly sacred in Thailand, and was even on their national flag until 1917.
Oh, wow.
That's just a little added tidbit.
Yeah.
But they were actually very huge creatures, and they were expensive to feed and to take care of.
More than any other elephant?
I guess so.
Well, it's because it's white? Was that?
Well, maybe it was just bigger. Maybe the white elephants were bigger than the other elephants.
I doubt it.
Okay. Well, regardless, it was a burdensome
I'm just trying to get to the bottom of these idioms. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So what it was if you really wanted to punish somebody, it was a really passive-aggressive way, because you would give them a gift of a white elephant, knowing that they would basically go into the poorhouse trying to feed it and care for it.
Oh, jeez. Man, what is wrong with humans doing this to one another? I mean, come on.
Okay. Well, it's pretty elaborate.
Here's your white elephant so that it'll just eat you out of house and home, and you'll starve. There you go. This is how much I like you. That's crazy.
I know.
That's crazy. Where's that one originate? Did you say Thailand?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no one wants an elephant.
There's
Well, I shouldn't say no one.
There's probably multiple origins, explanations to that.
We should come up with our own for that too.
Okay. What do I got? I've got one last one. The silver lining.
Silver lining. Okay. Yeah. Well, I know. Sort of literally what it means. It means like there's something good and a bad situation. Right?
And it comes actually from a work by John Milton.
Ah, which one? Paradise Lost? Comus? Okay, never heard of it.
Comus. I had to point to it to Jeff because I wasn't 100% sure on the pronunciation, but Jeff is the literary...
Oh, I could have been wrong as well.
Of the two of us, he's more well-read.
Well, that's not true. You've read way more books than me. Maybe not.
You've read more important books.
Actually, yeah, well, I haven't never read, well, I've read some of Milton. Milton's the kind of, you read it I think he wrote Paradise Lost. I could be wrong, but.
Do you want to read his little passage about
sure,
where the silver lining comes from?
Yes, let me do the reading. The silver lining is the optimistic part of what might otherwise. Okay.
This is where I'm pointing to Jeff.
Was I deceived, or did a sable cloud turn forth her silver lining on the night? I did not err. There does a sable cloud turn forth her silver lining on the night and cast a gleam over the tuft grove.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is where we add some. I'm going to add some applause right there.
That was
right
like some
here. There.
James Earl Jones kind of stuff happening.
Yeah. That was a lot of clapping. That was really nice. People
what a
really
great way to
that.
end this podcast.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you found some.
This is Amy's way of saying, let's wrap this up. All right. Sounds good. It was a good podcast for sure.
Fun. I learned some things. I lost some things.
We made some things up
things.
We made some things up,
which
was
some
really
made up
fun.
Things in this. So yeah, let us know where the whole elephant in the room came from. Pop onto our Instagram or Twitter, Facebook.
Remember, we know what it means,
and
but we just want to know where it originated.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you in the next podcast on InfoQuench.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening.
Be sure to visit InfoQuench.com to subscribe and catch up on past episodes.
You can also check out InfoQuench on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Till next time.